Hey, hope everybody's doing well. Um, had a week long vacation. Just took a week off of my day job, and since I don't work my night job, I just didn't really do anything. Watched anime, so pretty much getting back to work here. Refactoring a couple functions based off of some of the things I've been streaming about lately. This weekend was pretty good. I went to go see a friend and chill with him and his family. It's just him, his two kids, and his mom lives with him. So, um, that was really cool getting out there. We went to a reptile show, and then there was a comic convention. I wanted to say a Comic Con, but my friend corrected me earlier today. He's like, "No, that's not Comic Con. Comic Con is a specific event." I was like, "Oh wow, okay, shoot, didn't realize that." But I went to a comic book convention, and I thought that was pretty cool. I bought some stuff in there as well. But wanted to talk today about and that weekend work. You know, what's it called? Spending time with him and his family, and just talking with him in general about certain things. Um, on the way back, I had like a bit of like an epiphany, realization, or understanding, clarification, whatever you want to call it. It's not something I didn't know, but it's something that I could finally put into quote unquote words. Instead of just like a thought where it's kind of like loose and I would take a lot of words to, describe it. But we use these terms, select, non select, beta, alpha, sigma. Again, I kind of went over some of these terms and what these terms mean, or the importance of these terms and how they are used to define certain things that we just don't totally understand yet. And we make references to movies and things like that. In the last video I made, which was just a commentary response to Abba and Preach's video about manosphere, red pill ideology just being astrology for men. So it's kind of funny. Or that was kind of funny concept, or them saying that. But one thing I noticed is like, we all exhibit these traits of being beta and alpha at different times. Now, obvious, like this is just something that everybody should know, that in some cases you're going to be a leader, in some cases you're going to be a follower. And the biggest thing is really accepting that and being okay with it. And that's kind of the problem that we see with a lot of people, is that they're just not okay with at some point in time taking a back seat to anything. And that kind of shows who you are as a person and how you deal with certain situations. Maybe that's something that you don't want to change. Maybe that's something that you might view as a vulnerability of sorts, that could actually cause a problem for you later on in life. But talking with him and just, some of the stuff that he's going through, thoughts that he had on his mind, it made me realize that a lot of times we talk bad about the other side. If you're the alpha, you talk badly about a beta. If you're, and vice versa, don't have to go through it. But I remember, back in the days on BGS's panels during the Hangout days, uh, back in the days talking with people like Angry Man and stuff like that, me as a would be considered an educated lame non-select man would look at things that a quote unquote Pookie and Ray Ray, a select jawline get pussy ass dude, or dude that gets pussy and stuff like that. I would look at it like, yo, what are you doing this doesn't make any sense. But then I started to see these things in my friend, talking with him, being around him, how he interacts with other people. Like, he definitely has the gift of gab. And back in the day, I would be like, this would be a person that I would look at and be like, yo, listen, man, well, you're the quote unquote enemy. You're the guy that, that I make content against, or the mindset, or you're the guy that exhibits the mindset that I make content against, and such. And now, as I, as I get older and, mature and all this other stuff, you start to look at this stuff and it's just like, he's not better nor worse off. He's just who he is, and that doesn't make him not my friend, not my brother, and not somebody who is not an equal, but also not better than me. Like, or sorry, doesn't make him a person that is or isn't better than me. It's just different aspects. And this is the same person that would, not come to me for advice, but he would vent to me and talk to me about what's going on. And then I would see it and I'd be like, what are you worried about? Also, thinking and talking to him and say, hey, listen, bro, like, the stuff that you've done in terms of validating you, or, you know, certain things that he was talking about. How would I say it? Not validating, but the things that you, ooh, man, how would I say this? I'm not trying to I'm trying to, again, it's just somewhat of a, I'm still working on this in my head, but I'm not trying to hold anything back. But you're a dude that's getting it, and you shouldn't be worried about this. And there it is. The things that, well, okay, this is, oh crap, I don't know what's going on with this thing. All right, I guess I'll hold it there, or I'm just trying to give you guys a view. That's not working, so, oh crap. That didn't make it any better. Use the old school stand. All right, sorry. The things that would be seen as, how would I put it? The barrier to entry has already been crossed. You've already, his value in a sense, and talking about who he is, and what he does, how much money he makes, and the things he's done to actually put him in the race to be considered for this woman, if you will. And it's just like, I'm listening to what he's saying, and I'm like, bro, why are you even talking like this? Talking from this standpoint, why is this a conversation? Like, this doesn't make any sense to me, and to me it just sounds like you're not valuing yourself at all here, and I don't like that. I don't like hearing this. This doesn't make any sense to me. Forget who she is. That doesn't really matter to me. Like, all these things, they just don't make any sense to me, where I'm looking at it and I'm like, why are you fighting so hard when in actuality, why are you fighting so hard, and why are you not getting what you want out of it? And why are you quote unquote qualifying yourself for her? And I won't go any further than that into the whole story, because privacy, and I didn't tell him I was making this video. I just want to use him as an example. And I'm like, this is crazy that it's almost like you have to do all this just to try and qualify yourself for her. And it's just like, bro, like, this doesn't make any sense to me. This does not compute. And it's like, this is the guy that would be a bit of a social alpha, if you will, financial alpha, most definitely. And he has other women, but this is the one that he deems special or worthy. And I'm like, bro, I understand, you hold her at a higher level than any others. And that's cool. I understand that. This is the one you want to invest in. This is the one you want to take to another level, so on and so forth. That's great. But the problem I see with this is that you're doing too much and she's not reciprocating. And this all made me realize this, like, this whole alpha beta thing, as we know, it's fluid, but some of these terms are used and it just seems so black and white. And, of course, there's just so much nuance to all of this. And I think the progression of thought in this community, in this space, is understanding the fluidity of these aspects, these traits, these thought patterns, these mindsets. That's where a lot of the that's where we start to really see, how would you say? That's where we really start to see the growth in this space, the refinement, the better understanding of all these different things that are going on. And I think that's the part where we need to, as I always say, there's find ways that. Let me just turn it this way because this is kind of semi annoying me. Oh, y'all can see my flowers that I neglect. Um, this is where you have the refinement of the. This is where we need the refinement in the space. This is where we need to make improvements in our thought processes and our mindsets, and also looking at these things long term. And a person like him, I look at him and I'm like, listen, man, I think you need to understand your value, what you bring. And he was able to kind of pull it off. And this woman is starting to really invest in him because he's quote unquote starting to pull away. Not really pull away, but I told him, I was like, bro, you're not getting what you want, and if you're not getting what you want, get the hell out. Like, leave it alone. And he actually took that advice to a certain degree, and laid it out and say, hey, listen, man, this is what I'm looking at, and this is what I'm expecting, and you're not giving me that. Like, I don't care how mean you are or what you're saying in terms of your transparency, but you keep calling me, like, that type of stuff. And I was like, if she's getting what she wants out of it, which she probably is to a certain extent, then why can't you get what you want out of it? Even if you're not getting all of it, but at least get most of it, enough where you're satisfied. And I listened to what he's saying, and I'm like, bro, I mean, I understand you want to make this investment. That's cool, but are you satisfied? And if you're not satisfied, then you need to move on and find someone that will satisfy you. And it's like we have these conversations in this space, and this is why it's so important to where we look at these things and we don't put ourselves in just a certain box, slot, or category, but we understand that, hey, we can move from one end of the spectrum, if you will, to the next. And I know spectrum and boxes and slots and stuff like that, tribes, some of those are trigger words for people, but I think it is, or even fluidity is a trigger word for people. But I think it's important that we understand that we can move between these different things. And even though it's a box, or if it's a room, if you will, instead of a box, these rooms have doors, and all these rooms connect to one another. Or if you look at it, it's an open field, and you can be at any point on that open field, that grid, if you will. So you can take that grid and you can split it up in quadrants, and you can split up quadrants and quadrants and subquadrants and stuff like that. You can do all these things, right? The biggest thing is, do you understand what you are doing? Are you actually confused with all the changes that you've made to these terminologies and these thought processes? And does it actually quote unquote hold up to scrutiny in any way, shape, or form? And I think that's important, is that a lot of people do these things or have these thoughts, and they don't express them, and they don't hold up to scrutiny or hold up to someone challenging it in some way, shape, or form, which is semi what I'm doing myself right now. Is that, like, hey, scrutinize what I'm saying, listen to what I'm saying, and does it make any sense to you? Does it apply to you? Or does it apply to you, but do you want to make a tweak or something like that? I'm expressing myself because I want to understand if I'm quote unquote right, wrong, or close to it. Am I making some sense? You can make sense to yourself, but there's a lot of crazy people that make sense to themselves too. So take that for what you will. But yeah, I kind of wanted to get that out, and I'm not sure what I'm going to title this. Maybe I'm going to title it like Red Pill Fluidity or something like that. Yeah, that'd be a catchy title right there, man. But yeah. Hey guys, I hope you enjoy yourselves and enjoy your day and enjoy what you do in life. And I had a conversation actually the other day with Lionel of Crypto with Lionel, and he had said something that, or I said something, then he repeated it, and I was just like, whoa, that's actually why I didn't understand I didn't understand what I said, but when he said it back to me, I was just like, wow, yeah, that does sound pretty good. So I'll probably start using this as another catchphrase in my video. Probably the way it start is, have you taken the time to grow today? Have you taken the time to progress? So yeah, I think I'm gonna use that. Like, have you taken the time to grow today? So you don't have to grow every day, or you don't have to grow and it means you reach some other spot. Sometimes you grow by looking into your past and refining, or in terms of coding or programming in coding terminology. Sometimes you have to refactor an old function, and all you're doing is upgrading the way its functionality and the way it interacts with other functions. And once you do something like that, it hasn't really changed the output, but it changes the way it looks at it. And for some people, that actually is an improvement. It isn't a progression in any way, shape, or form. You haven't added anything new, you haven't subtracted anything, but you have, quote unquote, in your eyes, made something better. So, have you taken time to grow today? With that being said, thank you very much as always for listening, and I wish you all the best. Peace.